Hello, everyone. Whoa, microphone's way away. Hello. How we doing? Happy Monday. Happy new week. It's another week. Another week in the world of Warhipster. And we are live. And in your worlds, of course, not just my world. It's not just my world, you're all living in it. How are we doing? You guys good? It's another Me Time Monday. It's another Monday of doing stuff. Lots of stuff, lots of different things, all in one stream. So we've got lots of things on my to-do list to do. And so the first thing to do is to do our 40th day. Yeah, 40th days. 40th day of 20 minutes. I need to decide what that is going to be, actually. On these, I think it's going to be the black details. Or we could go for... Yeah, no, it should probably just be the black details. But I will have to investigate what those are, because I can't remember. So we've got our Vitrix Honor Guard kicked off at last. The next 3. In the army. To take us to a nice round 6. Remember when everything used to be units of 5? So yeah, so we've got these 3 Vitrix Honor Guard that we're going to be doing sort of 20 minutes of work on. And then we've got some MESBG to work on, which is cool. Our next big video in the MESBG thing, so we're going to kick that off. And then of course there is still the rot swords hanging over us, so we've got it all going on over here. It's a very busy time in the world of Josh. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being along with this journey with me. And as you can see, 99,500 people are on this journey with me. We are screaming our way towards it, aren't we? 492 to go. That's 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I reckon. It'd be awesome if it happened on stream on Monday or Wednesday next week. It's not going to happen this week, but it would be awesome if it happened next week. You know? To hit that 100,000. Then my parents might finally be proud. A fun story for all of you. I got a big blob of blue on the S key on my keyboard, and it's annoying me. Okay, so the black just goes over the top of the soft bits and the bolter bits, as you would expect. Yes. So there we go. Should we just get on with it? So for this one, for this next video on the 20 minutes project, I'm not shooting every single minute, because what ended up happening is I ended up having 150 gigabytes worth of footage and 12 hours of footage to cut down. So what I'm doing is I'm shooting like 3 minutes at the beginning, 3 minutes in the middle, and then like 2 minutes at the end. So it's one of those things where I have to concentrate, but like I'm like, this just feels like a better scenario. Or if like the paint changes over halfway through, we then knock the camera back on, because yeah, I'm never gonna put the whole. I'm never gonna put out a 14-hour video, for example, but because you know that would be insane. Doing do. Right, so that's all gold. That's all gold. What about you? Yeah, it's all black. So it should be, there's a little... Okay, alright. Oh no, I know what we should do. We should shade the cloaks first. That's what we should do first. Yes. Yes, well reminded. Or maybe we should do the black. I don't know. I don't know. Oh. How about that defiler, eh? Yeah, it's very nice, Yggdra. I like it a lot. That is an example of a model that needed an update because it really needed one. Because the defiler kit was horrible. And so getting a new defiler, that's an example of good decision. You know? I'm just going to go for the black. Hello, Sean. How are you? Spilled my first contrast paint and it was Black Legion. Mine was, I think it was Gorgrunter Fur. It happens in the Karazai video. There we are. So let's go for some black details, shall we? So there really aren't that many black details on Space Marines these days. Especially ones that are in brightly coloured clothes. Yes, it's just the grip on this one that's black. I'm pretty sure that's everything. Oh no, we've got a little power cable on the back of the axe. Lovely. So yeah, so then what I've been doing is I've been then stopping that and then just doing this and then just painting for a little bit so I can sit back here in my relaxed state, and also so that the file sizes aren't too big. And if you're worried, clock's still running. So it just becomes a lot more relaxed, you know? Of course, this does now cover my beautiful face. But, that's okay. I can live with that. So glad you did a Zytrack video. I'll be using the hell out of that. Well, that's awesome. I genuinely, as I have never really... What they've never really supplied us with is great photo evidence of what the other guys look like. Not really. At least not as far as I can remember. There's a lot of like artwork and stuff, but like that, it felt very codified. And then in the battle tome, there is an entire showcase of Zytrack. And I was like, damn, that is one good looking great nation, you know? So I was like, oh, I've got to do it now. I have to do it. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really striking, very powerful scheme, and also crucially a lot more simple than Geometrica, because Geometrica has a lot of layered blue, which isn't a problem per se, but like it's just, yeah, there is a lot of layered blue to it. Whereas that one was just like, hey, this is lethally simple. Check this out. So here we are. We're on to the third one. Still doing Black Legion. Maybe someday I'll take this project to the insane idea I had a little while ago, which was to do 1 second of painting ultramarines for every subscriber I have. Problem was, that was 99,000. It was like 96,000 at that point. And I was like, I wonder how many seconds that is. Oh, a completely untenable position to be in when you're as busy as I am. But if anyone wants to grow a social media account, there's an idea for you. You can use that. Hello, Captain Manrings. Boo, 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 boo. Josh wants to paint more skate. When did I say that? What's the name of that stopwatch? Does it also count the time forward with the option to start and stop? Yes, it does. It can. It only goes up to, I want to say 9 hours. Which is a little bit annoying. Because when I bought it, it said it was 24 hours, but it's not. Because I bought this little clock to do, one of the 24-hour challenges we've done over the... I think it was for Legions Imperialis. I want to say that was when I bought it. It's been a while now. I use it all the time now, though. Let's quick check in, shall we? With the filming. Right, have we missed any black detail? We've missed a little corner just on here. There we go. Got it. Got it on the inside, got the bum, got the waist. I think that is all the Black Legion details. Yes. So now, I'm pretty sure it's Sigvald Burgundy. Yeah, why not? So this will be pretty simple, because all we're going to do is we're going to use the Sigvald Burgundy over top of the grips of the axes, and we're going to use it over top of any wax seals on any parchment. Yep, and we've got one little wax seal just here. Might have overlapped a little bit too much there. Let's wash the brush and then just try and get some of that off. Alright, I think we saved it. There shouldn't be any more parchment, so it's just the grip. little bit more. There was just artwork. I've looked at them quite a lot because they are the wizard ones from the nations. I look forward to seeing them in that codex. Vitrix. They are beautiful. No, it's a really fun scheme to paint, and it looks cracking. And I want to do the. I mean, I've got a lot of Lumineth, and I've got a lot of Lumineth in Geometrica to do, but I've also got a lot of other Lumineth, which I would like to do in Vitrix to go along with him. Is that everything for this guy? Looks like it. Yep. Alright, well, we've still got 4 minutes left, so Skeleton Horde? Might as well. Skeleton Horde. Over the top of the parchment. Who had the... You were the one that wanted to second, so we'll leave you till last, because that way the Sigvald Burgundy has long enough to dry. So we'll do you next. Cool. Yes, it is you. I was gazing at the miniature, being like, there doesn't appear to be any. No, it's right here. There we go. Oh dear. Seraphim Sepia next, why not? Evening, Steve. So we'll do the Seraphim Sepia and we'll try and get 1 or 2 of the interiors of the cloaks done. With the 2 minutes that we have remaining. At least you guys get to see how I do this. So, Seraphim Sepia. Load up the brush. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start up here. And then bring it all the way down. Like that. So that's one angle done. Just need to check to see if we can get in there. Yeah, I think we can. By coming at it like this. And then just angling our brush like that. Oh. And then we can come in this way over the top of the... And then what we can always do is come at it from this way. Oh. And then go about it that way as well. Then we just check from this angle to see if we've got it. We've nearly got it all, but what we just need to do is just come in and just do a one long one. Like that. And then we just rotate around. Come in here. And like one of the things I found with cloaks and stuff is like when you're trying to get all the angles of all the dangles, you just need to just look at it like this sort of thing, just to see if you've got it. And I think we've got it all. But what you can do is you can make contact and then splay your bristles out and then move it around like this. See what I mean? So I think that's one we've got. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We've only got 12 seconds left, so there's not much point in starting another one. Because we'll get halfway and then we'll have to stop. So what we can do is just do this, and then wait, and then stop. Like that. And then turn that off. So, yeah, Skeleton Horde, Sigval Burgundy, Black Legion, and 1 Seraphim Sepia applied. So that means that tomorrow... that one. That means that tomorrow, what we need to do is we need to do 2 more Seraphim Sepias, then start the gold. And the reason we start the gold is because we've got Flesh Terror's Red to do for the tabard things and the rope. But if we do the gold first, it means we don't have to pick around the Flesh Terror's Red. So we do the gold next. And then Flesh Terror's Red, then silver, then shade, then profit. So... going a lot quicker than Sternguard this time, I will say. It does also help that there is only 3 of them, which is very useful, very handy indeed. Well, there we go. That's job number 1, all done. Which means I can pop these off to one side to be painted up more tomorrow. I can pop you to one side as well. Oh yeah, so this is called X-Rex. Whatever you, this is just the clock. If you want to look for it on Amazon, that's what it is. It's you can get it. You charge it very USB-C. It has a power saving mode, like super bright as well, and I have it just on low light like that because I don't need to have it on, full beam all the time. It goes up in hours, minutes, seconds, and you clear it and you can stop. So you can. So if I just press start, it goes like that. But if I clear it and then I put time onto it, it goes up to 9 hours. And then off you go. So there you go. See, handy little bit of kit. Well, I've found a lot of great use for it. Oh, it's also got magnets on it. Those are magnets. So I just magnetize it to my light pole just there so it's out of the way. But I could put it on here on the mic stand, for example, which is cool. It's good. It's a handy dandy little bit of kit. I've been hoping you would put up a video on the wind chargers for Lumineth. I'm sorry I haven't. I do have them. I have them. I have everything. I have everything Lumineth ever, including Mayari's purifiers. I think that's what they're called. But what I haven't done is I haven't got through all of it. So I need to do the. I think I'm going to do the cowmen with the hammers is what I want to do next, to go with the Alarith that we've done, Avalanor. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's for a future Josh to decide. What are you guys all up to today? Rubbish day. Had to go and visit a stillborn baby in hospital. No, that's a hard day. I'm sorry, Sean. That sucks. That's a horrible, horrible day. Did GW send you something lately? I haven't bought anything from them for a while, but actually I do need to buy something. Yeah, I've just been reminded. Let's go. Who should we give our patronage today? You. So we need a pot of Iron Warriors because we're running low. Do we have a spare of Reti? Yes, we do. We got a spare of skeleton horde. Null oil, that's what I need. That's what we're running low on. Null oil. Might as well get 2 of them. I'm pretty sure I have a spare. No, I don't. No, I do. I thought I spare Poxwalker, but I do have it. Bile Red, we're good on. Gut of Flesh, we're good on. Hexwraith, we're good. Imperial Fist, we're good. Bad Moon, good. Basilicon Grey, good. Black Templar. I don't think I have a spare of that. Let's get a spare Black Templar, because we have a spare Black Legion always, because you never know. Because if I spill my Black Legion, I have to have a Black Legion on standby because I use it so much. Mindlessly painting terrain in Ashen Stone. That's good. I've just finished the pickling liquor for the Oddbox Fennel, an expensive side hobby. So, they're all expensive side hobbies. Right, we got it. Yeah. Right, what else did I need? There was more paint. Oh, Flesh Terror's red, of course. Flesh Terror's red, and I think we're good on the base paints front. Although I know that Mechanica Standard Grey is a problem. Oh yeah, Lead Belcher. Oh no, wait. It's Cantor, OS, Calgar, Temple Guard. Did I really not buy a spare? No, I knew I did. Why are you hiding down there? Yeah, it's fine. What's happened there? That was weird. Are your mediums filled, Josh? Yeah. Planning to go to Warhammer World Shop Anniversary. Do it's worth the 3-hour drive. Well, I don't know if this will be appealing to you, No Skill Painter. But I am hoping to be at the Warhammer World Anniversary. So maybe, whilst Warhammer World is a wonderful journey and there's lots of things there that might make you excited and happy and inspired to paint further Warhammer, I will hopefully also be there. Yes, Saturday. I've painted 53 miniatures this year with 10 Ultramarines Terminator, an hour or 2 from completion. I'll be overtaking you again. Will you? Let me just check my to-do list. Let's see. Models completed. Yep. Yeah, you will be. I'm gonna have to rush paint some miniatures. A lift for Josh. I'm planning on going up a little bit early on the Friday night, if I can. Yeah, I'm still sorting some things out, but like, yeah, I should be there. Which will be fun. Meeting Josh personally would be something awesome. Well, I don't know about that. I'm a pretty grumpy person. There's no difference between this and in person. There's no veneer here. I wish there was. I wish when I was streaming I could be like, hey, I'm a completely different person and I'm super cool. But no, this is it. This is the same person. Oh yeah, shopping. That's what we were doing. Yep. Cool. And we also need a brush. Yep. Yep. Alright, where are we at? Do we find something to make this free shipping? Hobbyist math it. I'll shake your hand if I see you, Josh. I'll be there. I'll be blobbing about. What's your discount in GW shops? I don't have a discount in GW shops. I wish I had one. I get sent samples ahead of time. Everything else I pay for. All the paints, all the primers, all the tufts, all the texture parts, all of it. Brushes. Additional models. Like these Vitrix, oh my god, I paid for these. And various things all and sundry. What brushes are you buying, Josh? I buy Citadel brushes because I like them. Looking forward to painting that Defiler Warhipster if you haven't already. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a go at it. It'd be nice to have a go at it. Yeah, because I've said this before. I go through brushes and like Citadel brushes. I think are they're good enough for what I want them to do, but they're not so good that when they inevitably disintegrate on me, they're not an overly expensive layout. If you see what I mean. So like I could buy a lot of I could go on Amazon for example and buy like 100 terrible brushes, but then they're terrible brushes and I'll go through them much quicker and they'll make painting much more difficult. So like there's a clever blend here, and also Citadel brushes I can just get hold of if I need them. I can get these here tomorrow if I need them, which I don't need them right now, but like I mean I could go into town and get them tomorrow at 10 a.m. Whereas there's not, I don't have access to a lot of brushes, but I do have access to those. That's why they're great for me. I use an Artis Opus brush for all of my highlights, but like using like a size 1 for like all my contrast application. Again, I go through them. I do this for many hours a day, so they get ruined really quickly when I use them. So it's just easier for me to use them into oblivion and then just buy some new ones. Plus it helps with the what's it called? The life cycle. Because I do inevitably turn them into mixing brushes, basing brushes, and stippling brushes. No, let's just pay. I mean, I could order a primer can, I suppose, but I don't think I need one right now. Plus, I don't think that makes it any cheaper because it then has to be sent by courier. So I think we're all good. Okay. Hopefully that's everything I need, and if it's not, then I'll have to make another order. Being a YouTuber is expensive, man. Especially a Warhammer YouTuber. Ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-boo-boo. Right. I think we're good. I'm now almost about ready level with my Lord Vigilant on Gryffstalker. Now moving on to the next level. Good man. Good man. That's what we like to see. Have you used Colourforged primers? I have. Need a recipe for demon flesh. We've got loads of those on the channel already, Eternal Crusader. I could direct you to one of 3 Demon Prince models that we've done. Is it 3? Or have we just done the 2? No, we have done 3. World Eaters, Emperor's Children, and a regular Demon Prince. That first Demon Prince video I did has had 81,000 views. Thank you very much, people who watched that one. I need to do 2 more, because I need to do a Nurgle one, and I need to do a Disciples of Zeech, not Disciples of Zeech one, a Thousand Suns one, but again, it's all very expensive, and I don't have any money. So, if you'd like to help with that, what a segue. If you'd like to help with that, you could, of course, consider becoming a YouTube member. If you're already a member, you could gift some members out to other people. We've got some grey names in the chat. We'd love to snipe some of them. Of course, there is also the super chat function down below, and there is also patreon.com/Warhipster if you wish to support the channel a little bit further than simply liking the stream, which you should all do, but we've only got 16 likes on the stream so far. Boo. We want 50 of those likes. Good morning, Vargas, for one. I don't know how to say. I'm so confident. Do you paint models for people? I paint lots of models for people, and I put them in videos for people. I saw the Defiler, as the kids say nowadays, a glow up. It looks way better than before. It does, doesn't it? It looks like a very, 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 very pretty model. That I was saying at the beginning of the stream. That is that is the example of where you take a really old, awful model, and then because it's like clunky and actually a detriment to a hobbyist's enjoyment of said model. When you upgrade it like that, it becomes much better. So it's a really good example of something. It's like the Viper. The Viper jet bike getting a glow up as well is also a really good idea, because they're just old, awful models. I'd suggest from Space Marines, the only thing that really needs it is probably the Land Raider, because the Land Raider kit, it just doesn't quite line up. Not quite line up. Coverage Unite, bring a tutorial. Brilliant as usual, thanks. However, my top half isn't as dark as yours. Problem is the rust grey is too light a highlight. Any for Pterodon turquoise highlight? You can always hit it with another layer of shade, Reese. Even if you've highlighted it now, if you hit it with a layer of shade paint, even if you just thin it just a little bit with some Lamian or some contrast medium, whichever you prefer. That'll take the edge off it, and it will also bring the tone of it down a little bit if you need it to come down. Like Null Oil would probably be fine. Corellia Green Shade would add in, so Corellia Green Shade would add a little bit more sort of mystique to it, as it were. Any highlights for the Pterodon turquoise? I typically use to highlight Pterodon turquoise. Cyberite green is usually pretty good. Depending on how dark it is as well, Cabalite green also works. But Cyberite green, yeah, usually works. So the Land Raider doesn't do good on your own Land Raider scale. No, it doesn't. That is the point. Dave Hill, thank you very much for 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. That's legendary. Thank you so much. And you sniped a bunch of grey names. Expert marksmanship right there. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. We'll play for the electricity for one more day. Right. We need to... Right, so here's what we're going to do. You have to remember that Josh uses powerful lights to matching his video exactly as difficult and probably looks similar in real life. Yes, that is exactly true. When I'm filming under this top-down camera, so over here like this, when I'm filming under this camera, it's really bright here. As you can see my hand. My hand is not that color. My hand is a little bit darker than that. The reference for my model that's accurate is the spinning thing, because the light is a bit more real world. Here I'm like in like if I turn these lights off, you'll see how dark it should be. Right? Here we go. Hang on. Watch this. There you go. That's how dark this room is. So flashback. That's the thing to bear in mind. That's how powerful the lighting is in here. Also, the monitors in our houses changed the colors right. That is true. That is true. Yes, if you have a HDR monitor, it can misrepresent colors. Josh was born in the darkness. Molded by it. I was born in the dark. Right, job number 2. I'm going to show you an exciting, cool video that we're going to be making. Using this metric ton of plastic and metal from a bygone age. So I just need to get it all out first. So yeah, and we got there. So we just need to arrange them nicely as well. Make sure we've got everything too. 1, 2, 3. 1. That is a herald. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Halbarad. 5. And 6. Just the king. 1, 2, 3. 4. Whichever one they're supposed to be. I can never tell. That is Lego. That is a banner bearer. That is Aragorn. Gimli. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The other herald. 8. Should be 2 more. 9 and 10. Yes. And then over here there should be 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. And 12. Perfect. Right. What is that? Oh. A little bit of sprue from a Nexus Chaotica. Okay, here it is. That was my alt account. I thought it was, but I didn't want to call it out in case it was a secret. Okay. Here we go. So, our next big Ardacon video, our next big Middle-earth strategy battle games video, is going to be something that is for fans of the books of Lord of the Rings and for fans of the films of the Lord of the Rings. So what we have is the Grey Company, and we have the Return of the King. And the Return of the King is essentially the list that you can play with in MESBG when Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli jump off the boats at the Pelennor Fields, and then the army of the dead arrives shortly after. The Grey Company is what actually happens in the books, where he turns up with Aragorn turns up with Legolas and Gimli in tow, but also some Rangers of the North, Halbarad, and Elladan and Elrohir, the twin sons of Elrond. The only thing we don't have is Blackroot Vale Archers and Axemen of Lossarnoch and all that kind of thing, because he does also turn up with some fiefdom warriors, but we haven't got that because they're not involved in the list in the book, in the game. So what we have is 2 legal lists here, but together they're not a legal list. But together, what we have is roughly 7. It's like 800, 900, possibly 1,000 points worth of models here, which is very, very cool. Andy, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. That's very kind of you. When are you finishing the Maggotkin? Love your content. We might try and do a little bit more on the Rot Swords today. I'm slowly getting through it all. It's just, yeah. You'll see what I mean in the coming weeks about how much we've got to do. So, yeah. And then Jack has been a member for 51 months. 51 months, baby. My kingdom for a WoW Lich King mini to paint that isn't $1 million billion on Etsy. Hope you're doing well. Here's to another 51 months. You need to find a friend who has a 3D printer and then just steal the STL file from someone. Much more talented than I. That was the cheaper way of doing it. I think there's some print-on-demand services as well these days. So, Elladan and Elrohir, on horse and on foot, the twin sons of Elrond. We have the 3 hunters for fans of Games Work Middle-earth miniatures. So there's Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli. We have a Rider of the Dead, a Banner of the Dead. We have the King of the Dead and 2 Heralds, because that's what comes in the box. We have 10 Warriors of the Dead with various equipment. And yes, these are just the normal plastic ones. They're not the see-through ones, because, well, it seems pointless to do a video on the see-through ones, given as, you know, it's basically a case of they're pretty much painted already. And then what we have is Halbarad. There he is, with the Banner of Arwen Evenstar. And then we have Rangers of the North. We have 12 of them. But what we've done is I've bought 6. I bought a box of the Rangers of the North, and I bought a box of the Dunedain. So they are different models across the lot. So it's not just the same. So all in all, it should be 12, 22. So 12 of them over here, 22, 23, 24, 25. Let's just count them manually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. 35 models all in total. And we're going to film the intro to it today. So we've got it locked in as the next thing to do. So that's what I'm going to do. I might as well just do this now. We might even just... Should we try and film the Army of the Dead? We've got, like... How long have we been live? We've been live for an hour, so we've got, like, an hour to figure out a scheme, I suppose. Okay. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's get this in the book. Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial on the road to Ardacon. Yes, we are back with 2 lists in one whole video. And, well, there's a lot of models here that actually have a lot of crossover with other lists as well. So today we're going to be painting up the Grey Company, and we're going to be painting up the Army of the Dead, otherwise known as in the list, the Return of the King. So, what models do we have here? Firstly, they've all been primed in grace here, I will say. But what we have is we have the King of the Dead. There he is. We have his two herald friends. There they are. And we also have a Warrior of the Dead with a banner. This is the metal one. It's chunky. You could probably kill a man with that. We have a Rider of the Dead as well. Another metal classic. That's very weighty. And then we have 10 plastic Warriors of the Dead. There we are, with various weapons and things like that. So that's the kind of one section of the video over there. So there's our our set of Army of the Dead miniatures. We then have the twin sons of Elrond. We have Eladan and Elra here. These are the armoured versions of them. There they are. And, well, these now can also go into a Linden army to go with our other miniatures from the Rivendell. So the Rivendell warriors and things like that. And there they are on horseback as well. All four of them come together in a metal blister pack. So that's 4 more metal miniatures. It's a lot of metal. We do have the 3 hunters at long last. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this one. These are the gorgeous plastic models of Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli. And they're just absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to get to these. And we keep up our Legolas streak for videos on MESBG land. We have Halbarad, Captain of the Dunedain, I believe. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. And he has the banner of Arwen Evenstar right there as well. And then we have 12 Rangers of the North. All metal, all beautiful. So we've got 1 box of 6 Rangers of the North and 1 box of the Dunedain. So together we've got and at least we've got 6 different looking ones. But we'll be painting them all up very similarly to each other in various bits of green and brown, I'm sure, because this is MESBG and brown is a very popular colour, as well as green. So we're going to be getting all of this done in this video, and you should be able to then go on and use these miniatures in a bunch of other things. The 3 hunters appear in a lot of lists in MESBG. The Rangers of the North appear in things like Arnor lists as well, so they can also appear alongside the elves. So there's lots of kind of cool crossover here. The Army of the Dead have a couple of places they can go, like the Battle of Pelennor Fields and stuff like that as well. So these are just kind of really cool models that will unlock a lot more choices for us on our road to Ardacon. So we are going to start with the ghosts, and we'll probably do them all at once, more or less, and then we'll move on to the rest of it. I'm not sure what the order of operations is, but it's going to be a good one. Done it. Oh, right, we've kicked off the video. I was thinking Briar Queen Chill for the Warriors of the Dead. Yeah, it's a decent shout. Now, traditionally, a lot of people have done Warriors of the Dead with Bale Tan Green. Which is kind of like in the film, when they arrive at the Pelennor Fields, they are very green. But the Games Workshop box art, they're more towards like teal. And there's a lot of tutorials out there where you just smash Bale Tan Green on, and I don't really want to do that. I want to do something slightly different. So I think maybe you're right. I think Briar Queen Chill would be a decent shout. And then we can shade that with something else. Now, as to what we shade it with, that's the question. And I think from my 2 cents, what I would like to do is I would like to do a kind of mix of green and teal. So for what I've been thinking is possibly doing something like Briar Queen Chill. I was Briar Queen Chill first, and then doing Coelia Green Shade and Poxwalker, but thin them both a little bit, and then just smash it all over the models. So I think that's probably the way to go, because I think that'll look really interesting. And then we can just give it a final little dry brush of white, just going sticking towards the top, but really gentle one, just going all the way up the model. I think that's probably the right way to go. But then, of course, we do have the King of the Dead, who is slightly different because he has a little bit of red to him. And I just want to check to see if they really do, because a lot of people also will like paint in the weapons, but again, I don't see them as being the weapons typically being metallic. Yeah, so King of the Dead's got a little bit of red to it. And I think what we can do is we can like use Nuln Oil to pick out like armor and weapons, so that will give it a sort of slightly ghostly affair, but not be like just like a solid bit of silver. See what I mean? We want it to be like ethereal weapons. So realistically, it's just all streams. Streams? Shades. Could you maybe do a dark color dry brush for the highlights? Will make the blue glow look ethereal. You could do. Happy with that. No longer needed you, Josh. Sounds great. Well, okay. How about what we do is we test it. We just test it on one, rather than just commit fully. And only you guys, the 54 people watching, and anybody who watches this on demand will know that we didn't do all the Army Dead at the same time. Let's do it. Let's test it. I mean, usually I don't do them all at once, but because you know, it would make filming really, really, really long. So like sometimes I'll get like a box of 10 miniatures, right? And I'll, if they're like, let's say we're painting like 10 intercessors. I am painting all 10, but I'll do them in batches of 5, because doing a batch of 10 at once, it's oppressive. All right. Let's try it. So do we reckon we thin the Briar Queen chill down a little bit? I think we do. I think we go for a classic. I think we go for a 2-to-1. All right. Crash zoom. Whee! Alright, so here's 2 parts Briar Queen Chill to 1 part Lamia Medium Mix. Literally just to help us make it go a little bit further, but also so it's not completely dominant on the model. So let's just get this over the top of the entire lot. I was trying to think earlier about, like, what's the... If there was, like... If contrast paints... Somebody told me contrast paints are going away tomorrow, but you're allowed to keep, like, 5 of them. What would they be and why? And I was trying to think about it earlier, and I was like... Well, I've got lots of favourite colours that are just favourite colours because they're nice colours, and this is one of them. Like, Briar Queen Chill, it's a beautiful colour, I love it. But it doesn't come up all the time. Not all the time. Like, it's very... It's kind of... I mean, I use it probably more than I should, but I really like this colour. I think it's gorgeous, right? I mean, just look at it. It's like quintessential ghost, right? And like, if I was... This is if my job was to stay the same as well. But like, would Briar Queen Chill be one of those paints? I don't know if it would. But I know that Black Legion definitely would be in there. And I think Baal Red would definitely be in there as well. And by that moniker, by that logic, I should say, that means that Imperial Fist should also be in there. There we go. Spooky. Right, I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and I'm going to write that down. Right. So... War Army of the Dead. So that was 2-1. Briar Queen Chill to Lamian Median. Cool. How would you do Carbander wings and what red for the skin? I assume Black Legion for armor. Probably. His wings is a different matter. Let's have a look at him. I think I've talked about this before. It's probably somewhere in the region of using Imperial Fist and then Griffhound Orange or Fukin Orange or Eandan Yellow, whichever is the preference. And then there's just like some... Probably Cygor Brown for the darker parts to blend it in. Flesh Terror's Red, Black Legion, Gilman Flesh, Skeleton Horde, and Cygor Brown would probably be my 5 picks. Seems like they're used on pretty much every one of my world is. Nice. Yeah, I mean, look, they're all great. Oh no, the second stream I've made it to live. First was your first airbrush stream. How is the airbrushing going? I can never watch an old stream in one go. I go at them in drips and drabs. That is fair. That is absolutely fair enough. I haven't done anything else with it since since the time I actually applied paint. Is to answer your question. So I would say by that logic, my airbrushing journey is going pretty poorly. So I think once this is dry, we're going to use Nuln Oil over the top of the armor. I think is my idea. Let's go back to Warriors of the Dead. Thank you. Oh no. Ooh. Bidoo bidoo. Bidoo 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 bidoo. Not null oil. Toggle Raid Shade. Targor Raid Shade. Imperial Fist. Imperial Fist is a top draw paint. It makes yellow approachable, which is important for a color like yellow. All right, we should be able to just do this. All right, this is Targor Raid Shade, and we're going to pop this over the top of the chainmail. Like so. And we'll also apply this over the top of the sword, but we won't do it like cleanly like how we're doing it there. So we'll take this Targor Raid Shade and we'll just apply it like this and like that, and we'll do it over the top of the crossguard and the pommel as well, and then we'll wash the brush and we'll just do that and do that. And we can also do that like that. What color would you say Targor is? It feels like purple, brown, and black all at the same time. For me, it's purple, and brown. I love Targor Raid Shade. I think it's the single most interesting shades they've made. It's up there for me with Agrax and Null. Right, we want Poxwalker and Green Jade. Where have you gone? There you are. We're going to give them a good vigorous shaking. And then by the time we've thinned these both down on the palette, we should be all good to just start whacking these on. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go... we'll go one Poxwalker. Yeah, one Poxwalker. And then in a separate pile, we'll go one Coelia. And then we'll go for 2 of Lamium Medium in each, to create 2 separate piles of shade. And then we'll just move between them, and it doesn't matter if they mix. So this first one is Coelia Green Shade. that. Back to Poxwalker. Back to Coelia. Back to Poxwalker. Mixing between. Mixing between. And maybe we do just take a little bit of Nuln Oil as well at the same time, but we don't thin this down. And then we just, like, do that sort of thing. A little bit more. And now we leave that to dry. Okay, I wouldn't afford that. Forgive me, Sensei. Why? What have I done? I wouldn't have thought of that. Oh, what? Just to add a little bit of Nuln? Just to give it like a little spacing in there. If we mix the colours, it helps the etherealness come through. But then all that remains on this is just doing a little gentle... I mean, look, you could probably just leave that as it is. That looks pretty good. But I think if we just, once it's fully dried, just go in with white scar, probably. And just really gently, in little areas, like at the sword and stuff. It's then good to go. I like that. Because the way we make the King of the Dead different is we're gonna throw in Berserker Bloodshade over the top of his red robe. So we'll wait for that to dry. Naturally as well, when you're painting like 10, I mean, there we go. That's what he looks like. And I think you could just like, if depending on what, so if you wanted to make it greener, you go for Bale Tan green. or you don't use Corellia Green Shade or Poxwalker. Like you just use Beltane Green. Again, there's a lot of videos out there of people who just throw Beltane Green over it, and it looks great. But I didn't want to just do that again. I'll do something slightly different. So I love painting ghosts. It's so fun. Anyway, whilst we wait for that to dry, 45 gifted members. If it dries in time, we'll be able to change models painted to 61. It is gonna be white. We could use Praxetti white, but that's a dry paint. It's gonna definitely scuff. No, it should be White Scar. Or if we don't want it to be as intense as White Scar, Corax White is also a recent shout. Grey Sea is not powerful enough. Ulthwyn Grey isn't right. Maybe just go straight for White Scar. I'm sure White Scar is fine. I struggle with coming up with colour schemes. I usually find some ones to copy and use Paint Rack to convert paints. Any tips on making decisions that look so easy for yourself? Yeah, I do have a video. There is a video on how I came up with the Emperor's Children scheme. Essentially, the way I do it though is I back reference color schemes by looking at the edge highlights. So in the case of, I always talk about black paint, right? But like when you have black armor or black details or whatever, when I look at the edge highlights that somebody has done or that Games Workshop has done, if they are grey, then I know that it's going to be Black Legion and Null Noil. If they are blue, then it's going to be Black Legion and Drakenhof Nightshade. If they are purple, then it's Druchii Violet, right? But you can also kind of go with like red, for example. If it's an orange highlight on a red, then it's definitely Mephiston Red. It's just a Blood Angel's recipe through and through. That's the colour that it is. So yeah, I colour match the highlights and then work back. And I work off of kind of old triads that Games Workshop used to do. Where they would be like, yeah, it's going to be Macragge Blue, then Macragge Blue, then Altdorf Blue, then Calgar Blue used to be their old Ultramarines recommendation. So I know that Calgar Blue is... If I'm seeing the color and it's Calgar Blue, then I'm like, yeah, okay, that's Ultramarines color scheme. So in my case, that's Assaman Blue followed by Ultramarines Blue. Do you know what I will show you? Actually, I'll show you something that I did last night in about an hour and a half, and I was really, really pleased with it. That it came out this way, and it comes off of the back of an idea that I've had, and also a thing that I've got to do. I primed an Ultramarine in blue, is what I did, and then I painted him to a just above battle ready standard. Look at that. Isn't that cool? That didn't take very long at all. So yeah. I was pretty pleased with how that came out. I wish they still had the bonding studs on them these days. I wish they had bonding studs all over them. I think it's such a silly, but it's very cool. Corax and then White Scar. I don't know if it needs two highlights, Captain Memories. I don't like addressing you without your rank. Thanks for the White Dwarf comment yesterday. Sadly missed watching it live. Incredible work from everyone here. Oh, Pip242. Thank you very much for being part of Tale of Many Warhipsters and sharing with us your Grey Knights and various other all and sundry things over the last year. It's been wonderful. Your Grey Knights are spectacular. I'm envious of them and I wish that I had them. Give them to me. don't do that. Keep them for yourself. No, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. Genuinely, I was like, hold on a minute. He's ripped that from the pages of White Dwarf 503 or whatever. No, you hadn't. What you are is just a very special talent. You should be very pleased with yourself. And thank you very much for being a member for 11 months. 1 month away from a year. What will we do? What are you buying me for our 1 year anniversary? What is 1 year? Is that like wood or something? Let's have a look. 1 year anniversary. I used to know this. Is it paper? Yeah, paper. Yeah. For you, another really useful box. Ooh. Ooh. You're gonna get me some new Grey Knights. Are you just gonna walk into GWHQ and be like, where? Oh, here they are. Weren't you supposed to release these when our codex came out? Oh, do you know what? Yeah, we were. Sorry, bro. And it was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Well, here you go. White Scar. It's nearly dry. Ideally, we'd use a round head brush for this, but I don't have a spare one of those, so we'll just use a flat. This is gonna be a video after all. Oh, keeping me up. We just celebrated our 4-year anniversary, Josh, and I didn't get anything from you. Not even a new Cantor. Look, I tried to send you a new Cantor, but they wouldn't do it. They were like, nah, bro. We've got too many other things to re-release. Would you do 30k Mortari in the same scheme you've done his demon form? Not quite. I've started that video. I need to finish it. I just haven't got around to it. It's been mental. Like, when we started that Mortarian video, I was like, yeah, I've got a week. I then didn't have a week, and then I've not had a week since. Because I've got him, Gilliman, and Perturabo as well. As my next 3 Primarchs. I'd like to do all 3. We just have to wait for a time when they release a bunch of Horus Heresy stuff, but they don't send me any of it. And then I also learn ahead of time that it's going to be them, so I can get on with them and do it. And not be in the midst of doing other things, which is what I have been recently. Oh, what a February. Are you nearly dry? No, not yet. Nearly, though. Any Seraphon on the horizon? I can't see the horizon from here. It's a very haggard pot of White Scar. There's still enough in there to not have to buy a new one, but it's very, very, very. It's hanging on. If you had to get rid of one, which one? 40k, AOS, MESBG, or Horus Heresy? 40k. Hot take. No, Horus Heresy, probably. If I had to get rid of one. 40k is an immensely popular game system, which when it's good, it's fantastic. AOS is a very good game system that informs what 40k does, and I love the fantasy aesthetic more so than the sci-fi aesthetic, me personally. MESBG is a fantastic, wonderful thing, and because Lord of the Rings is just amazing, and I love it, and it's very formative of who I am as a person. Horus Heresy is a nice to have, I think. Any news on Prince Uriel and co from you, or were Phoenix Lords too much of a flop for you from a view perspective? I have no news on Prince Uriel or any of that, but if Games Workshop wants to send them to me and paint them, then I shall do so. There's an alternative world where the Space Marines are not as popular as they are, and that in fact it is the Eldar that are the most popular miniatures, and they're the ones that are the poster boys, and they're all over everything ever, right? There's an alternative universe where that is true. And as a consequence, Horus Heresy isn't a game system that ever gets invented. Instead, you get the War in Heaven, and that's the alternative thing. It's there as a like if 40k is too light touch for you, then play Horus Heresy. See what I mean? It's people say that the old world and Horus Heresy have a bit of a kind of similar vibe. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think the old world technically is a historical war game now in the context of the Age of Sigmar. And Horus Heresy is technically the historical war game in the context of Warhammer 40,000. But it is a very I like the way it plays, but I think the cool stuff that happens in like the new Custodes models that are coming, for example, are beautiful models. I really, really like them, and I cannot wait to get my hands on them and paint them up, because they should for me, as somebody who likes painting gold, they should be a really fun time, right? I would prefer them to have been a 40k release than a Horus Heresy release, and I know you can use them in both, right? I know you can use them in both. But they're set in, because they're in Horus Heresy, it means they're designed by the Specialist Game Studio. Because they're designed by the Specialist Game Studio, it means that building them could either be really fun or it will be really horrible. At the moment, a Custodes model is typically, they're complicated, right? But they're pretty easy to build. I am envisioning that the Horus Heresy new plastic Custodes models will be a nightmare. And as a consequence, I feel like because Horus Heresy's got a bit of a this is where the true fans go, as it were, type vibe, because it's a bit more specialist, it means that every aspect of it is specialist, which is something that I don't vibe with. I like things to be simple or easy or fast, you know. So, like, I don't like building, so I like my building to be simple, which is why a 40k kit I much prefer over a Specialist Games kit, because Specialist Games kits are they're often just a bit grim to build. It's stuff like, oh yeah, the shoulders are all in two pieces, and to build this one leg, it's the foot, the front, the back, and the thigh, and then it also goes into the chest, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4 pieces. And then the arm is one piece, but the Guardian Spear comes in 2 pieces, in 3 pieces, for example. You know what I mean? Are you dry? Nearly. There's two little bits that are still taking a while. Sometimes if you've got like a recess, for example, the only bit of this that's still not dry is just in here. See? So the rest of it is dry, more or less. But in here it's still wet. So sometimes, very, very occasionally, I don't recommend doing this all the time. If you want to at a recess, if you just take your brush and just at the bottom part of it, in here, just touch the brush in really gently. Some of that surface can just run into the brush and it dries it a little bit quicker. It's very rare that you can do that, but sometimes. As someone who hates painting gold, teach me your ways. 8 out of 14 Tomb King Blood Bowl team down and so done with gold. Gold en masse. Gold en masse is so satisfying to paint. Small gold details, annoying. But large panels of gold, it's because it's a warm metallic, right? And so the it's one of the recipes that I came up with that I think for me it's like my first recipe that I came up with, and it's nothing new, it's nothing interesting, it's nothing revolutionary, but it's one of the recipes that I came up with on my own, thinking I've locked this, and it has stayed the same for as long as I can remember. It's Retributor armor shaded with a 1-to-1 mix of Fire Slayer Flesh and Lamian Medium, and then relayer the Retributor armor. And it's that bit, when I do that, it's like, oh, because you just restore all of that shine into it, and it just looks so fiery and warm and beautiful and lovely. And then the highlight is a roughly 2-part Stormhost Silver to 1-part Retributor armor mix. And Stormhost Silver and Retributor armor together creates this ultra shiny white gold that is just sublime in a way that Liberator Gold is not. Liberator Gold is close in tone, but Stormhost Silver is so shiny. What it does is you get all the shine of Stormhost Silver, but you get the lovely sort of patina of gold from Retributor armor by mixing them together, and it's so satisfying to paint on like Stormcast, for example. I don't do it in every single video because, like, if I'm painting, for example, Ultramarines, doing a highlight with Liberator Gold is fine in that case because gold is like the small details. It's not the predominant color. But when it's the predominant color, oh, it's just so satisfying to paint. I love it so much, and that's for me. That's why I love it so much, is because it's again, it's not revolutionary, but when I did it, I was like, "Oh my holy god, this looks great!" So it has this special place in my heart for painting that color, which I always love it. Why do you think Specialists seems to go out of their way to make the builds horrific? They don't go. What I will say is, Specialist Games does not go out of their way to make it awful to build. What they are used to is designing resin kits. They're not used to designing plastic kits, and Games Workshop as a business is quite siloed. So the people who are designing your 40k miniatures and your 40k plastic kits, they're not also doing the horror set. There's other stuff from Specialist Games, which is why you do get those things where it's like, yeah, glue in all 6 of the toes, because that's how it's just been designed. They are getting better, I will say. But then occasionally it's just all goes out the window because you just get something that's a nightmare to put together. It's like the Illyrian Reavers, right? The new ones that came out. The horses' heads do not go on the bodies unless you know exactly which horse head is supposed to go on which body, and it doesn't tell you. He goes, they're interchangeable, but they're not. They don't all line up. They just don't. That's just a flat lie. There is a specific order to them, but it doesn't tell you what those are. So without cutting off all 5 of the heads, you won't know. See? Which would be more appropriate for a Minotaur's Space Marine? Balthazar Gold or Hachette Copper? Traditionally Balthazar Gold, because it's a base paint and it's a lot easier to apply, is what I would say. I just finished assembling the new Angron Transfigured model. I should probably do him at some point. Just started following you and love the videos. Just bought the Isengard Battle Host box and bought every colour you use as I think they look awesome. Great work. Thank you very much. Turbocharged. Who's at fault? The model makers or the instruction manual makers? But what I will also say is I am a narrow use case again. I don't like the building. There's a lot of people who do really like building. You know? And also, I would suggest that because they're not game systems designed for people like me who are, I think of myself as entry level as a hobbyist most of the time. I know I'm not, but I think of myself in that way because I like things simple. I love push fit kits. I love them very much. Like when I get a push fit kit, I'm like, oh, exciting! I'll build it in like 5 minutes. You know, I do like a push fit kit, and that is the counter view, because a lot of people hate push fit kits, right? Because they're not. For some people, they're like, that's too simplistic. It's too hard to put them together. They look awful. It's all monopose and stuff. With specialist games models, they tend to be more posable, more interesting. But as a consequence, to have more posability, you have to have. There is the leeway that you. In order to have that posability, you can't have simplicity in the build. So, like the great recent example is the Saturnine stuff, where I saw the instructions for the Saturnine Terminators, and I was like, "Are you joking? 60 pieces to build one Terminator, one infantryman? That's ridiculous." But you can pose it in multiple different ways if you want to. But as for somebody like me, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't pose it so differently. You know. Right, I think we're dry. I'm going to dry brush this now with White Scar, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be really gentle here. Need a little bit more. There we go. I think that looks great. Seen the Elania and Alathor Eclipsian War Sages model. I thought it was two separate models in the picture for the box. Oh, no, no. One single model. There we go. What do you think? Just a little bit of white here and there. Just to pump it. I think that looks fantastic. The way is shut. It was made by those who are dead, and the dead keep it. Of course, not. He didn't say that. It was him who said that. I'm quite pleased with that. Yay! Not bad. That's 6 paints. Plus Lama medium, so 7. So in order to do the King of the Dead, we'll need... I think for the banners as well, what I might do is I might throw in some Athonian camo shade as well. So just to do again just a little bit of extra work, but just a little bit of variation. So all in all, I think we're looking at 9 paints to do all of the Army of the Dead. Which overall, for me, that's a lot. I know, but like, because again, there's a lot of videos out there. Bale tan green, dry brush white, done. But I think that's really effective. I'm really pleased with that. Cool. Well, we did it. We've got 6 minutes left on the stream. And Toaster has given us a $5 super chat. If you meant to send a message alongside that, do type it down now. But otherwise, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. That's very, very kind of you. Coming to a video near you, The Army of the Dead. I kind of want to shoot that tonight. I can't, but I want to shoot that tonight. Me. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just move some things around. Thanks for all the great stuff. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat. That's very kind of you. I try. I do have 10 more. Just don't move that WD-40 behind you. No, never. It lives there. That's his place. That's his place. That's his place on the table. It's where it belongs. Love your style. Getting back into painting after about 7 years off. Nice. Welcome back. Welcome back to the painting fold. Welcome back. I'm wondering what the possibility comes in from making the Warriors of Rohan's faces separate from the head. Hate the decision after coming from the simplicity of the originals. Yeah, so that's a great point, right? Is with MESBG models, they massively up the amount of components based on how much detail there is. So like with the heroes in and of themselves, they're not particularly difficult heroes, but like some of them, I just don't know what's going on. Like, that Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, they were actually okay. They were about like sort of seven or eight components. But sometimes when there's a horse involved, it's like, why are these 20 components? Like Helm Hammerhand, he was insane about Aragorn. How would you feel if GW revamped their paints with dropper bottles? I wouldn't feel great about it. But that's because I don't like dropper bottles. Which is controversial. And it's a controversial thing to say with only 2 minutes left on the stream. But no, I don't really like dropper bottles. I feel like look, for me it's like the pots of paint have their problems and dropper bottles also have their problems. Pick. You know? Can someone explain the dropper bottle meme? It's not a meme, unfortunately. It's people are convinced that dropper bottles are better than everything else than the pots, because the pots do get a bit gummy, right? They do. But like dropper bottles do as well. Like, let me find. I've got this one. Is it that one? Dropper bottles only seem good for airbrushing. So dropper bottles are excellent for airbrushing. They're also good for wet palettes, and they are good for like, if you've got good ones, they are good for dropping out like good for mixing and stuff. What I have had in the past though with stuff like this is a really old dropper bottle, right? Is, I'll show you this one. There is, see that little cap on it, right? That little cap there. There's one of these, right, where the entirety of the dropper, there you go, it's already gummed. The entirety of this whole section was basically hardened, right? It wasn't like fully dry, but it was hardened. So when I came to apply some paint, this sausage of paint came out before anything else did, and you can't see it. That's the thing. So there's hidden things in here, is what I always find. So I feel like these aren't as clear. I'm just going to try and find it because it was grim when it happened. Was it you? Maybe it was you. Yeah, I mean, look, that one, I've just opened that and that's already sprouted paint. So when I put this back on, it's going to come up. There we go. And when I take this off, boom. There you go. I feel like the separation of paint is harder to spot in a dropper bottle as well. Right, there we go. Look, so that's glistening gold from 2 thin coats. So that right there, I don't think that looks like gold at all, right? So if I give this a good thorough shaking. it doesn't really, it's not really changed, right? So in order to see what the state of this paint is I have to get it out first. So I have to deploy some. With a pot, I can see in and I can see if it's mixed or other. So I like that. I like the little shelf that you get, so because I mix all of my stuff with brushes. With these, it's about controlling how much you blot out, right? And if, like me, you're a ham-fisted moron, you squeeze too hard and too much comes out. You just got to start again, like if you're mixing. So like, I don't love these. But then, to me, it's not that deep. Like, if Games Workshop changed everything over to dropper bottles, I wouldn't be sad. I would just be like, okay, I've now got to replace all of that, and I've got to replace all of my racking as well, because a dropper bottle does not go in there. So, if anything, I would be more annoyed in that regard. I'd be annoyed I'd have to change all my shelves. But yeah, like, the pots of paint, they also do... Have I got any that are really bad? I don't think so. Maybe that. Alright, yeah, look. So, like, here's an old pot of Black Templar, and you can see how the rim's not... Black Templar? Yeah, Black Templar. And you can see how it's not quite closed properly, because there's a lot of paint that's deposited in here. And that's not great, but, like, I've always found that I can clean that off I can clean that off quite easily. I'll show you how I do it. And this is just me making excuses, right? But what I do, if this is my pot of paint and I want to get that excess out, what we do is I take the lid off. Hang on. I'm trying to do this at an angle I don't normally do this. There we go. Take the lid off, pop the pot to one side, take this, and then turn it inside out like that, and then boom. Sealed pot of paint. Anyway, we're going to go because we're now 5 minutes over. But thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Thank you very much for the super chats. Thank you very much, David, for the gifted memberships as well. And thank you everybody else for the many months of membership, especially Jack with his 51 months. 51? Yes, 51. So yeah, we're going to pop off now. There will be videos. There will be Argent Shards and the Zinch Faint Master. I don't know if one will be tomorrow or both Thursday, Friday. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Yeah, so that's what's coming up this week, and then hopefully on Wednesday we will go live, and I've said that every Monday, but every Wednesday has then turned into an insane day, and then I've not been able to because I've been too busy, so we'll have to see what happens. But I will be back with plenty more content this week, and I will see you all very soon in the next one, and I hope you have a great week if I don't speak to you again. So I will see you later now. Bye!